Tak, my vás vítáme u dalšího GOLFCASTu. Dnešní GOLFCAST je natáčený s naším bývalým španělským trenérem a proto budeme mluvit v angličtině. Nicméně tak doufám, že si to užijete, protože naše angličtina je specifická a možná v budoucnu titulky doděláme, nicméně teďka asi úplně nebudeme schopni, ale i tak si myslíme, že tomu budete rozumět a že si to užijete. Tak jo, tak my jdeme na to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GOLFCAST. This is our next guest, Dani Colomar. He is a golf coach from Spain, our good friend, putting specialist, former golf coach of Sergio Garcia, current golf coach of a couple of European Tour players, and head pro in Black Iron Golf Academy, Chaparral. Dani, welcome back. We happy to see you.
Thank you very much. Děkuju.
He actually said probably everything, so we can end it up. And
yeah,
that's enough.
It's just wrapped it up. You know?
I mean, like
it's a wrap.
you have already like 2 lives or what?
It seems like a lot. Yeah.
It's nice.
No, you know, it's a first ever podcast in English, so it's kind of different for us. So we're a bit nervous, but you know, your English is a lot better than ours. So let's.
I don't think so. No.
Let's rock it. Dani, how come you're in Czech Republic now?
Well, I'm in Czech because I'm married to the former receptionist of the golf resort that we are at.
Okay.
I mean, this place is super special for me because it's where everything started. And actually, today in the morning I was coming, and although I spent here almost 3 years, the flashes that I was having today in the morning were the memories of the first time that I came.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I actually remember the day that you came. You came for. Well, it was actually not for like being here for a long time. You just came for maybe a couple of weeks to help us with putting and
No, the idea, the first idea when Kino contacted me was you come for 3-4 days, you take a look, you see if you like it, and if you like it, you go home, you pack your stuff, and you come back, and if you don't like it, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we did it, but when I came, I already knew that I would come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking for an opportunity, and that was one. Yeah. So I usually don't say no to opportunities. I just.
So you already had the stuff with you.
Yeah, pretty much. So what I said to Kino, I said, if you want me there tomorrow, I'll be there just a day. I mean,
nice.
Yeah.
Was it after university?
Yeah, sure. I finished up my studies. I was hired by the German government. And I was teaching Spanish and English at the secondary school in Germany, in North Sea. I was an amateur golfer. I was a low handicapper, but I was an amateur. I was a golf geek. I always have been. But I was pursuing a different career. But when I was there, I thought, this is not what you want to do for the rest of your life. And actually, I think it was my mom at some point that said to me, look, because I said to her, look, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I need to look for something different to do. And I was thinking about, I don't know, master degrees, business. I had some language skills, but I didn't know too much about business. So I was thinking about doing something like export, import, something like this. She said to me, I think to some extent you're lying to yourself because we all know since you were 15 years old that what you want to be is a golf coach. You have finished your studies, you have some savings, you know languages, why don't you get ready for that? So when the school year ended, I came back to Spain to get ready for the coaches school in Spain, the federation program. In Spain, it's actually the federation who runs the program. Okay. And in that process, Kino contacted me. He knew I was in the process to get ready. We knew each other long ago for a very long time, and we liked each other. So, and he thought I was a dependable guy, and he called me that he had bought the Sampat Lab.
Uh-huh.
And that he didn't have the time to run that part of the business. So if I wanted to take over, I could take over. So that's how it started.
So at that point, you were not specialist. You were not
No.
product specialist. You were just.
Not at all. No,
You took a chance and tried.
I wasn't a coach.
Okay.
Oh,
At all.
That's a new thing for me, because I thought once you came that you were already a putting,
I was in the
coach.
No. I was in the process to. I was in the process to start building myself as a coach.
Okay, because
But I wasn't.
I mean, like in that time once you came, like everybody thought you are already a golf coach, and you actually, I don't know how to say, but you were already like you know, if I looked at you and you just started to teach us. I knew you were teaching already like
I think I was
years.
probably a coach inside me.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
never. I think you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
My first golf lesson ever, like taught, was to you.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. In the batting green that is in front of the terrace.
Yeah.
You had a tailor-made ghost
Yeah.
batter, and a sleeve of balls with Lucky Hunsa written on them.
Yeah.
It was
You
my
remember
first.
that better than me.
Yeah, it was my first golf lesson ever.
That's cool.
But you had a good basement for the coaching because you were teaching already in
Yeah,
Germany,
well,
so
yeah.
you can-
I was a school teacher. I was a golf geek. I was a student of the game for many years, and yeah, sure, and yeah.
How did you take up?
And I was always the kind of guy, like, in the group of friends that we play the tournaments together and stuff. For sure, I wasn't the best player, but I was the guy that everybody would say on the driving range before a competition, "Can you take a look at me and see what is off?" Right, and then I would say, "Oh, you're aiming a little bit to the right, or right, or you're coming." I don't know, whatever, too much from the inside, whatever that was. I had no clue, but I liked looking.
Yeah.
It was inside you already.
Yeah, and the people that were around me kind of realized it, and I mean my friends, and they would ask, "What do you think? Can you take a look at me?" Quick looks, nothing like coaching, but I was the guy that they were.
You were helping. Yeah.
Kind of.
This is how it's
Probably not helping a lot, but
If they believe you, if they believe it.
yeah, whatever.
It had the effect. I mean, like, this is how it starts.
Yeah.
These are the small steps that make you think, oh,
Yeah.
sure, this should be my journey, huh?
How did you take up golf?
By chance. I don't come from a family of golfers.
Yeah.
My parents own a cottage in the seaside in the south of Spain, in a place where golf is not very developed. It's not Costa del Sol or anything of the sort. You two guys know the place.
Sure.
We just have to pretend that I have to explain it. But I hadn't had any contact with golf until I was probably 14 years old, and a golf course was built in that place out of nowhere. And the 15th hole happened to be our backyard. So
That's pretty cool.
so my dad asked me if I wanted to try. I tried. I liked it, and the more I played, the more hooked up I was. And yeah,
Have you ever played any other sport?
yeah, I did handball before. I used to do some cycling, football, like everybody in Spain,
Yeah.
obviously. Ashamed to say that I did some martial arts at some point. But like a child, you know,
Okay.
like those childs with the kimono, right?
Okay, yeah.
Nothing like too much. But actually, when golf came into my life, pretty much everything disappeared. Not only golf-wise. I mean, I like music a lot, and I used to have I still have a big collection of music at home, like plates,
CDs.
and CDs and stuff. And when I got serious about golf, I stopped buying anything about music or anything of the sort, because all the money was spent in golf anyway. So.
So what was the thing that caught up with you, like with golf?
I don't know. I think it's the individual challenge. I think it's I don't know. I think it's such a technical sport with people. I mean, for me, I'm an analyst, right? So golf is the perfect spot for that. Not for being a good player, because when you're an analyst, you're. Can I say fucked up? No.
You can say whatever you want.
I said it. But it's very easy to get caught in the nuances of the golf mechanics, golf technique, golf, strategy, golf mental side of the game, when you're an analyst in your mind, right?
So many things to think about.
Yeah.
So when you were in Czech and then came back to Spain, how do you, or from this point of view where you are now, how do you see how do you look at the experience that you had here in academy and in Kunětická Hora?
It was great. It was great, especially because, I didn't have any background, as I've already said. And all of a sudden, I was probably with the biggest fish in the pond, that was Kino, right? And under Kino's wing, I had the chance to work with good players, good amateurs. I was exposed to a lot of, very early, to a lot of good stuff. And I think it was mainly good because you guys made it good. Like, it's very difficult to find yourself better welcome than I was, and then it was Kino. And if you're going to start your career, and I think I don't know if I was the right person, probably the wrong person, but at the right place at the right time with the right people, right? And especially Kino at the time. He was so far ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So far ahead of the curve. And I had access, and Kino was like the key to so many gates, right? He was an excellent boss. We spent so much time together. We went to so many places. We exchanged so many ideas. He never, ever one time said to me what I had to do. It was just
automatic, or it was like automatic, or
no? It was exchange of ideas. It was he giving me place to grow up. He never said we do things this way here. Never one time.
Really?
Let you free.
Never one time.
He let you freehand.
I think I kind of earned it. Because now that I'm a coach and I run an academy and I have assistant coaches and I know how people tend to be or behave, I think I was a little bit different. I have to say it. You have to think, and this is something that I don't explain very often, but when I came here, I didn't have a salary, I didn't have lessons, I didn't have anything. So because I didn't have anything to do, and now I see it, I've had people working for us that when they didn't have anything to do, they go home. Mm-hmm. They don't show up, or they go somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. Because I didn't have anything to do, what I did was attending everything Kino was doing every day.
And learning.
Learning
from the best.
And I was doing something more than learning. So I remember my first steps in the academy. Let's say in the junior academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the junior academy, I didn't have any official nor an official job. I didn't have anything to do there, but I would show up in the trainings, and I would see what Kino was doing, and I would observe, right? And through that, I got my first glance at preference of. Thanks God it was Kino, right? And his preferences were great. So about grip, about golf swing, about things. But I remember what happened the first time that during the training, people ran out of golf balls. And I was thinking, okay, if they are training and Kino's working and I'm doing nothing, who's got to go for the balls? The one that is doing nothing, right? Yeah. Me. So I went for I don't know if you remember that big black basket.
Still
right?
here.
Yeah. Still there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I would fill it with balls and then roll it back to the training, right? But then sometime after, with me it's never very long in time. I kind of burn stages quick. Sometime after, I started to realize that some players, when Kino had to say all the time the same thing to that player.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it came natural to me, like a fire, that if Kino said something to you, it wasn't to you, but about the grip, and he left to another children. And
so you said the same thing to me?
I was like,
yeah.
Right? And at some point I couldn't stand it anymore, and I went there and I put the hands in the right position, right? And there are some definitive moments, right? In that moment, Kino could have said, hey, this is my training, right?
Yeah. He didn't.
Never said.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
He did,
that's nice.
right? Just let me do.
Okay.
So at some point, I was already doing stuff, like reinforcing anything that Kino was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you should start, and that's how you should learn. You should be a copycat in the beginning, like the best copycat in the world, like by a millimeter, right? And that's what I was doing. But it didn't last much until I went one stage over and I was copycatting, creating. Like, I'm seeing something and I know what Kino would have said, so I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Which is one step farther, right?
Sure.
And then one day Kino had training with the Czech Federation. And he said to me, Dani, what if instead of canceling the training, would you say to everybody that you will take over? Let's see how it works. Mm-hmm. It was a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Still remember.
So you took over the academy?
The training day, right?
Yeah.
Let's see how it works. And everybody showed up. Everybody came. And I think the training wasn't bad because I was very careful to do only what Kino was doing in the trainings, right? So from that moment on, and I got paid, like whatever, right? From that moment on, whenever Kino had something to do, he didn't cancel the trainings, I would take over.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime after, he said, Dani, I'm thinking that you could do, because I don't know if you remember, but the trainings were 2 days in the week. It was Tuesdays and it was Thursdays.
Yeah.
So he said, why don't you take over one of the days and you do putting and short game? And I said, yes. So that's how I went. That's how I went growing, right?
Yeah. And that was the first time you kind of specialized, right? Putting.
Well, when I came to Czech, I came with the idea of specializing already because he was very open to me. He said, your main business is to take care of the Sampa Club and to make it work.
That's why you were here.
Yeah, that's what I was here, right? Yeah. And we prepared the space that you remember in the gym.
Yeah.
we bought the woods, we glued the artificial grass.
It's still there.
Yeah.
The grass there?
Yeah, the grass.
Lichtenberg did that small piece of furniture for the
TV?
computer.
Yeah, with the computer.
And then we put a TV
TV,
on top. It was good, right? It was,
Yeah.
It was really good.
and
The TV is still there as well.
Everything is still
and
there.
I was very lucky because I didn't have any lessons. So in the first couple of months, I was just studying because I had never ever in my life given a putting lesson.
Nobody knew that.
No.
I mean, like,
We were like,
I was.
And nobody realized. That was the trick,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
nobody
That was the
realized
trick.
because we thought that you are a really putting specialist.
You came here as a putting specialist, and you will coach us putting. You know, that
I
was
was-
the idea that he told us. Actually,
I was studying.
Kino told us. I think that's why we were like.
It might
so,
be, yeah,
Yeah.
might be. Kino was very open
But
to
you
me.
did
He said-
you did act like one, you know.
Yeah,
So
from the day one, man.
We
From
were tricked.
from the first day.
no,
No,
but
but
It
you
was
were
a magic. It was a magic trick. He was actually worse than us.
no, I was a good putter.
Oh yeah,
I was a very good putter. But
with the short
well,
game as well. Yeah.
but I was studying as we went.
Yeah.
Studying as we went. And I remember the process because the first thing that I had to do was getting my hands on the software of the Sampat Lab. I had never ever seen anything like that, so I realized that there were some green bars and red bars when things were done good or bad, right? So in the first stages, I was trying to study because as much as I could about the putting swing, because my job consisted on turning reds into green. Then after time, I realized that wasn't coaching. But I thought that was the best way to get paid by giving lessons. If people came with some reds and left with some greens, people will be happy, they will pay, and they will come back, and I couldn't be too far off, right? And I wasn't too far off. But that helped me to study a lot about the putting swing and ask the right people and create the right human connections. At the end of the day, this is all about people. And we've been speaking about Kino a lot. That is probably the key element in my golfing career, of course, because it has been the key that opened the house.
Yeah.
And then I've been running around the house, but he was the key that opened the castle to me, right?
Yeah.
But then it's all has been about building connections with people. And this is something that I cannot stress enough. As a player, as a coach, it's all about connecting with people. We are nobody alone, right? As a coach, or it doesn't matter how many books you read. It helps a lot. At the end of the day, there are people that have experience that you don't have, that have a knowledge that you don't have, that can help you access to experience. And knowledge at the end of the day is information plus experience, right? So there are people that have information that you don't have. Information is on the internet and is in the books. If you're a geek, as I was, you get access to a lot of information. But the experience is what you cannot grasp without the help of others. And the experience at the end of the day is what makes the difference. So again, asking the right questions to the right people, you have the access to the knowledge. And I think that's how I made the trick.
Yeah.
To make it look like I was teaching already, but I wasn't.
It's really like.
No, it really did look well. So we were tricked. And
Yeah, you found your journey. I think this is so easy for you to be a coach. You know, so like automatic as a human that.
It can be, but it's still a daily struggle, and it's already.
Yeah, sure, but
It's going to be 10 years. And yesterday in the evening, midnight yesterday, I was watching documentary films about coaching in Netflix and taking notes, right? So
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. You always study because
Yeah.
this is the part of the process. Look, so the curry in here on this resort we've been through, I would like to know a lot more about the experience that you have with Sergio Garcia, and how did you meet
by
up with
chance
him?
again, by chance again, and again too early,
Yeah.
and again. Trying not to show the lack of experience.
I mean, like you were okay. So you were like 2 years, maybe 3 years, a golf coach.
3 years coaching, yeah.
And you showed up with
One of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
teaching him putting.
Yep.
But it was not
Cool.
it was not directly after you left Kunka. It was you went to Madrid for 1 year, no?
Yeah, but it was during my time in Madrid. So at some point, I thought my time in Czech could be over. Not that it was bad; it was good. But for some reason, I wanted to come back to Spain, and I wanted to try in Spain.
Yeah.
It was like, to me coming to Kunka, it was like going to university.
Okay.
And at some point, I felt like I had that finish, and I wanted to see how I could do coming back to Spain, and already if I had a place in that, if I fit in that puzzle, right? So I got a job offer in Madrid. I went to Madrid. I took the receptionist with me.
Yeah, already.
And when I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 months there, someone called me to give a series of putting clinics in Castellón, and some private teaching about putting. And I went there.
Sorry, so you were already specialized in putting once you left Kunka.
Yeah, I was very active. At the time, I was a lot more active than I am now, and I had my golf blog at the time in Spanish. I attended pretty much every seminar that the Spanish Federation or the Spanish PGA organized. I was attending with Kino, right? I was actually, because I had my background as a translator and interpreter, so I was interpreting some of the seminars. So I wouldn't say that I became famous among the golf coaches in Spain, but a lot of people got to know me.
Okay.
And a lot of people got to kind of follow my career, my posts, my stuff, right? So when I came to Spain, among a very small circle of people that are golf coaches or active golf coaches in Spain, I kind of already had a reputation. So again, things sometimes come naturally before they happen, right? Before you actually deserve it. So yes, when I was in Madrid for 5 or 6 months probably, I was called to do some putting clinics in Castellón, and Sergio and his dad were there those days because they owned the golf course. And Sergio's father asked me if I would take a look at him. I did. He liked it. I was trying to hide my lack of experience, competence, and shame. And he liked it, so they asked me if I could come back, and then I came back. He liked it. They liked it again. The first tournament that he played, after our first couple of meetings, it was the players that he lost in playoff. And eventually they asked me to move to them. And I was kind of traveling the world with him for a couple of years, which was very, very nice.
So you were like a person coach of putting with him. So you came to any tournament he went to?
Well, not to every tournament, but I used to travel with him, I don't know, to 8 or 9 tournaments a year.
Yeah.
At that time, have you had different clients or just him?
He was the first.
And the last.
No, I mean, like,
no, he was. My first professional golfer client.
No, what I mean by
was the number 4 in the world.
That's pretty.
At the time.
No, what I mean by that, I ask if you
That's
had
crazy.
any other lessons with other people at that time, or you were really like just private coach and just there for him.
No. I went for a series of clinics, and it was raining cats and dogs. I mean, pretty much the city was flat, so we had to cancel most of the clinics. And because I was there doing nothing, Sergio's dad, the owner of the golf course, took us for lunch. And we had a conversation during lunch, and I think he was surprised by some of the things that I said or touched, right? And that's when he asked me if I could take a look at Sergio.
How was the first experience? How was the first meetup with your golfing hero? Because I know that it was your...
Yeah.
It's your favorite player. So how was it? Because there is a quote that you should never meet your heroes because you might be disappointed.
No, that wasn't the case that day. No. But when he came in, and I knew it was in the gym because it was raining outside. So it was in the gym that we had like a fake hole and the sandpad lab set up, right? When he came in and I knew why he was coming in, I couldn't keep myself up. I had to pretend that I was tying my knots because I couldn't stay up.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't even speak, huh?
I was pretending that I was tying like my knots.
Yeah.
To have an excuse to be like sitting down on the ground, right? And I was, and at that point I remember myself saying to myself, "It's all about the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If you then screw it up in the first 2 minutes, it's yours." But I was so nervous, right? And then at some point I said, "You have to stand up."
It's already been like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
At some point you have to stand up, right? Yeah. So it was like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Then I stood up, turned back, and I said, "So what about you?" It was like, well, and he was mine already. I was like, here he was there, right?
You made him feel so small.
Yeah.
It was like fun. It was like, what about you? What's wrong with you? And we were 2 hours together. And after 2 hours, I said, look, for the first meeting, this is enough. So it was me who...
You ended up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was important to do it that way.
Yeah, I think...
So, I don't know, it was kind of intuition at that point. And I said, look, for the first time, this is enough. I don't want to say anything more. I might screw it up. So let's leave it here. Just work a little bit with it and see how you feel. And if you find it interesting or you want to deepen into it, you just call me again. And hit it.
Can you
there is. Can I tell the funny story about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The funny story is when we finished, it was lunchtime. So he said, "Let's go for lunch." And I said, No, I can't because it's been raining. And now that it's not raining anymore, I have a lot of lessons to I'm going to try to keep up, right? And his dad asked me, "But what about Cristina?" Cristina is my wife, as you know. At that time, he didn't speak a lot of Spanish. She was reading books in the clubhouse, right? So Sergio's father said, "What about Cristina's lunch?" And I said, I don't know if she had lunch, she's going to have, but I'm going to stay here. So Sergio said, "Don't worry. We take her out for lunch." So Sergio and his dad take Christina out for lunch, and I keep teaching until it becomes dark. When it becomes dark, we take the car and we come back to Madrid. And we were coming back to Madrid. She said, I had lunch with Victor and with his son, but I don't remember his son's name.
And they spoke English, probably.
Yeah. But I don't remember Sergio, the son's name. How's the name of his son?
Number 4 in the world.
And I said, well, Sergio.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. That's beautiful.
Can you say what was the issue with him? Like, what were you working on?
It's never one issue with anybody. With anybody, it's a lot of stuff. Things that
like
happen.
He's number 4 in the world, and you are like 3 years coaching putting. What are you gonna say to him? You know.
Well, there was some mechanics involved that had created what I call a snowball.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it always works not like that precisely, but it always, there is like, when you have a first time with a student, it's like I don't know how you say this in English, but you know the swing neat, like the neat, the grandmas do the
Yeah, I know. It's like a knot.
Yeah, like a knot. And the first time you spend a lot of time, or at least I do, like Rubik cube, like giving rounds, saying, trying to figure out where is the first action that I should take to start untying the knot. Right? So you pull with a lot of care a little bit, and you see if that's making it go out or if it's making it worse. And then you give another round, you see another one coming, you try with a lot of care, see what happens.
And you screw a little bit.
And you screw it a little bit, and then you leave it there, and then you give it another round until you, at the end, start understanding how the system is working. Or you think that you understand how the system is working, and you start going to places that might be mechanics in the first place, or it might be green reading in the first place, or it might be the mental side, or it might be distance control, whatever that might be, right? In Sergio's case, I think there was some mechanical issues that create problems in the functionality, and that had created a sort of a snowball. The problem is never, detecting the problem is only the first part, then you have to solve it. Solve it is never easy. That's the part that is coaching, right? Getting into mechanics with such a huge field player is never easy. So that's where you have to do the art, if anything.
Do you still use Aimpoint? Do you still teach it?
Not like a branded product, but I do use a lot of the knowledge that Aimpoint has left in me to understand better how green reading works and to be able to explain it to others.
What do you say about Bryson's reading greens? Because he actually takes notes or something.
But he's got a green books.
No, he's been using green books, but green books have been banned this year.
Yeah.
So you won't be seeing him with a book anymore.
Okay.
One last look at the career with Sergio. How do you describe life on tour? Because you've been traveling with him a lot. So how was it? How was it on a tournament?
It's tough. It's tougher than most people think it is. It's a job in itself. There is a lot of pressure. The European tour is a little bit easier. Not easier. Understand me right. It's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit warmer.
Less media. Yeah.
It's warmer. the PGA Tour is brutal. It's brutal. It's a very lonely place full of people. And a lot of people with a lot of interests because there is a lot of money involved. So everybody is under the gun all the time. Players the first. Being a player on the PGA Tour is not easy. Not easy. Because they have a lot of people that depend on them. They have managers, they have caddy, they have jet pilots. They have the golf brands, the sponsors. It's a very, very weak balance. And I think that explains why many European players tried the PGA Tour and they failed, although they were having very good careers on the European Tour. And it's better for them when they come back soon enough. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's difficult. But it's very interesting. On the other hand, it's a great learning experience. If you're not a man when you get there, you become a man very soon, or you get kicked out. It's like I don't know if it's politically correctly said, but it's like this. I mean, wow. yeah, it's tough. It toughens you up a lot and very quick.
Okay, what about the major championships? Have you been to some?
Yeah,
you've been to Open. We met at the Open. You remember?
In St Andrews.
St Andrews, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first major. Yeah.
Ah, cool.
And still the best, I think.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's great, and it's actually. I would say, at least for me, it was I felt more relaxed there, more relaxed than I felt in other tour events. It was great. It was. I mean, coming in the town of St Andrews in the Open week, knowing that somehow and in a very, very small piece you're part of it. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, you had access to anything. Huh?
Well, not to anything, but I had access to a lot. I had access to the locker rooms, driving range, course.
Wow.
Yeah. It was effective.
What happened that you ended up with Sergio? I mean, like the
split up. What
did you
split up?
Split up. No, ended up. Sorry. Yeah.
When you're a golf coach, one of the first things that you need to realize is there are two types of students: the ones who left and the ones who are going to leave. That's how it is. And it can be for several reasons. It can be a slump. It can be that you are not finding the solution. It can be that the guy is just full of seeing your face, or whatever it might be. Yeah. And very often it's a combination of them all.
Okay, it was your first ever tour player, but now you got some other players on the European Tour. Mm-hmm. Which one are these? Can you tell?
I'm working with Spanish guys. I'm working with Emilio Cuartero. I'm working with David Borda. I'm working with Gonzalo Fernández Castaño. Javi Ballesteros, Seve's son. That also been an experience.
Seve's son?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Well, because
So you coming to Pedreña?
No.
Or he's coming?
He has come to me. We've met in tournaments. But that's been fun because, I mean, he's Seve's son, right?
But I mean, like now you're teaching.
It's the closest you can get, right?
Really?
Yeah, but you're teaching them golf, like at all, or still.
It depends. It depends who.
Okay.
It depends who. With some players, I'm doing just putting. With some other players, I'm doing like general coaching. Mm-hmm. There are some players that I'm just advising in the strategy part.
Okay.
Numbers, strategy, stats, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. It depends.
And about the Ballesteros?
Yeah, I'm really.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, it's just the fun fact that he's Seve's son, right? and I was the first day that he came to see me, I was like, don't say, because I mean, Sev's been like my icon, god, whatever, right? I even thought that my first song would be named Sev. I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've watched countless hours of videos of Sev's tournaments, and he's got the ability to touch me even when I watch a video, right? But I was teaching his song for the first time, and I had promised myself I wouldn't say anything, because I think he deserved to be treated as an individual, right?
Yeah, sure.
I couldn't keep it to myself.
You screwed up.
But he's probably used to it. Everyone's asking about it.
Yeah.
I think these people.
He's very used to it. He likes it. He's the nicest person that walks planet Earth. He is the nicest person in the world. He's the nicest guy in the complete world, and he's a great guy, great dude.
And he's playing a European tour.
No. He plays sometimes through invitations. He plays challenge tour. He's
trying his golf career.
Yeah.
And is he also like a tricky player, tricky guy? You know, with the.
You mean skillful?
Skillful, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good putter. He's got a very good short game. Yeah. I mean, it's not fair to try to compare anybody with anybody.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's super, super duper unfair to compare someone with their parents. And compare anybody with Sever is like, right? He's got his own identity, and I think part of his journey is finding his identity.
Sure. Yeah. Well, because of his father, he probably has it even more difficult than anybody. You know. Because
to some extent, yes. And he's got more difficult than others to find his identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if you're, I don't know, to name someone that didn't have a son, if you're Freddie Mercury's son and you want to be a musician, you better be a rapper.
Yeah.
Because if you try to be a rock star, you're going to be compared all the time.
Compared with the father.
Like
and he's a golfer. His dad was, to me, the greatest golfer of all time, but one of the greatest golfers of all time. And he was very specific for some things. Mm-hmm. He was a character. He was a magician, right?
Yeah.
He was an escapist, something like this, right? When you're his son, you will need to find your place within golf.
Yeah.
You might be a great ball striker. You might be cold as ice, and that might be your recipe. Your recipe doesn't need to be your father's recipe.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right? And finding out when you have that background, because for us it's very easy. Because when we come to golf, we come new at golf. Nobody expects anything from us. We don't have any background. And we create from scratch. We paint on a white canvas. But for him, it's impossible to paint on a white canvas. His influence or his background is too strong, right?
Yeah.
So finding his identity is going to be a challenge.
Do you think, because now on the PGA Tour there was a PNC championship. Tiger played with a Charlie with his son.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be the case of a Charlie? Because you can see the potential, you can see the way
he
plays.
The first thing is, as excited as I was watching Charlie play, he's 11 years old. He might, in 3 years, he might want to be a car driver.
Yeah, whatever.
Or an engineer,
or
a doctor.
I actually remember that you told me one thing. Because when we played golf, at the time when we were like 11, 12, 13 years old, you told me that you knew a guy that was like super good. Like he that if he would kept playing, he would be one of the best. And he just at the age of 16 or 17, he met a girl, and he ended up playing golf.
Well, but I think that's the longest. That's the.
I mean, what I want to say is that
happens all
like
the time every day. Right?
Yeah,
happens all the time every day.
Yeah, and
no, but
exactly, and that could be the case.
Yeah, but what I mean is, we need to give him
time.
Pokoj. We need to give him room, space, and time. But again, if he wanted to be a golfer, which we still don't know, the only thing that I can say is he's got the most awesome golf swing, the most functional, talented, awesome golf swing that I have ever seen to anybody that was 11.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It doesn't look like... When you see children that are gifted when they're 11 and you see their swings, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Because his swing looks like a finished product already, right?
And he strikes the ball pretty good.
But on top of that, I mean, on the other hand, he's 11.
Yeah.
So you never know. We might never hear again about him, or he might have a rock band at some point. But
the disposition.
If he wants to be a golfer,
if he keeps doing what he does,
if he wants to be a golfer, one of the works that he will need to do is finding his identity, different to the identity of his dad, and finding his own goals and learning to manage his own expectations, right? His own way. Whatever we do in life, we have advantages and disadvantages. We are in better position for some reason, and we are in worse position for some other reasons. Clever people use the advantages and try to deal with the disadvantages, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what you have to learn to do, and this is what he will need to learn to do.
What is your dream?
My dream?
Yeah.
As a golf coach.
What is your dream? I mean, like, you have actually, you taught Sergio Garcia, one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, and
I mean, like,
there is something to say about that.
What is your motivation now? Because you are there. I'm not saying you are now there, but you are running an academy in Spain. Mm-hmm. You are like
something that I've learned recently is how important it is to have very big long-term goals. Mm-hmm. If you want not reachable ones. Because I didn't have that in the past. When I got the opportunity to be with Sergio, at some point I kind of felt empty. Like, okay, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's not good. Yeah. And I think a lot of the things that I've been doing ever since, from 2016 or 17 that we split, has been rebuilding myself. Mm-hmm. Because at some point I said, okay, you're the coach of one of the best players in the world. I don't think I said that to myself consciously, but unconsciously it was like, okay, you're done. That's it.
Yeah, because like...
That's it. You've been to majors. You've won tournaments. I mean, your player has won PGA Tour tournaments.
Yeah.
That's it. No, that can't be.
Well, sure, it can be, but
but I made that mistake, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
You felt like that, okay?
Because I never set goals before, like consciously, that were far enough, big enough.
But obviously, because you were like 3 years teaching. You are still learning about. You are still like reaching out your way.
Yeah, but one of the things that I do with my players now is, I try to help them create goals and the other day I was having a conversation with a player and I was asking, what's your dream? What's your goal? And he said, well, I would like to solve the financial situation of my family forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's a bad goal. Because that might happen after you win once on tour. And you might be 30 by then. What are you going to do the rest of your life? So, because I hadn't expressed to myself how important it was to have longer term goals, like non-reachable ones if you want to, or very difficult to reach them.
Mm-hmm.
When I was put in that situation, I kind of felt empty. Like, okay, that's it. Like when you finish a video game, right?
Yeah.
When you tap 3,000 times in the flatbirds, you remember?
You are the professional in there.
So now what? Where do I go now?
Yeah.
Basically, you still gotta. If you reach a goal, you still gotta have a place to look up.
Exactly.
Always. And and I think that explains. Really, I do think that explains in a great manner why Tiger has been Tiger. Some people had told me that they met Tiger when Tiger was very young. That Tiger's idea was to be the greatest golfer of all times and the most influential sportsman of the history.
Okay.
That might sound cocky for some people. To me, that's great. Because when you win your first tour event, you've completed like what? 0.5% of your bar?
You know where.
Yeah.
Psst, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Right? And if one day he wins major number 19 and he surpasses Jack Nicklaus, in his mind, he still has more.
He will never reach it.
He will never stop
He will never reach it.
because he wants to make sure that he is the most influential sportsman in the history of the game.
Well, everybody. He's the only guy playing golf ever that you can ask anybody in the world, and they know him. I think he's been already the most influential. Like, look, in Czech Republic, like in the past years, there was like a thing that golf is for rich people and so on. This is not in Spain the same, but well, it can be okay.
Not as much.
Not as much because it has greater history. But I mean, if you ask anybody, or if I've asked anybody past 10 years about golf, they always said Tiger Woods, and they always said I even like to watch him play, even though I have no clue what the fuck is the game about. I mean,
super
like,
inspirational.
Exactly.
Super inspirational.
Exactly, because just watching him gives you.
But
Exactly.
in Spain we have John Ram, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
okay, but he's not.
Wait a second. When he finished the university and he plays his first tour event and he finished up, I don't know if it was 4th or something like this. Came back to Spain for Christmas. He had an interview and they asked him what was his goal for achieving in his career, right? And he asked, how many majors has won the person that has won the most majors? And they said 18. And he goes like, well, I guess 19 is my goal. And he was super criticized in Spain for saying that.
Okay.
I think that's great.
It is, sure, yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be humble enough to work. Of course, because if you have such a great goals, you will need to work your ass off.
Sure.
To some extent, it's a lot more difficult to wake up in the mornings and work when your goals are not very clear or when your goals are shitty goals.
Sure, yeah. But like.
So if you ask me what is my goal, I want to be the best golf coach in the history of the game. I want to decode golf. I want to become the Midas king of golf, the King Midas of golf. I want to
Guru.
I want to be able to turn gold everything I touch.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. And
I mean, like, okay, but this is a huge goal.
Yeah.
And I think you are capable. You are able to make it one day. But I mean, it is so huge, kind of goal, that it might even be more like stressful for your life.
That's within you.
And
and how you manage.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, you have only this goal, or you have like small goals.
Of course,
small steps.
I have steps
that you have to go through.
Yeah, I have a list of books that I think I should read. I have a list of documentary films I think I should watch. I have a list of people that I think I should have more conversations with. I have the lessons that I will give when I come back to Spain after Christmas holidays. And I have the students that I have to help. But having the goal of decoding golf helps me never be satisfied with what I'm doing.
And that's the thing I'm asking. That's the thing I'm asking. Because you will probably, or it will take a pretty long time to get into that. Will you ever be kind of like happy? You know.
That's another thing that I have worked a lot on, because you're right. At some point, it's very easy to get what Americans say paralysis by analysis. It's like you. If you're never happy with anything you do, you question yourself constantly. Exactly. If you question yourself constantly, you're fucked up.
Yeah.
Sorry for saying up. If you question yourself constantly, you cannot go on. And at some point, I found myself questioning myself too much. Thinking that because I didn't know everything, I wasn't good enough to do anything. And there you're right.
There comes the doubt.
Exactly.
And there you're right. So what I'm...
But you could... but you can already, once you are starting to question yourself, and as you are saying now, but you can already be the best golf coach in the world, and everybody could like look at you. I mean, like... You
won't be, because you won't allow yourself to be. And this is what I learned recently. And this is what I've been working very hard on recently. You need to forgive yourself. You know what you know when you know it. And you might be confident that you will know better tomorrow, but you need to work today.
Yeah, but you can't slow down.
Exactly.
But you have to, and this is the line is so.
It's very thin, and for a very long period of my career, I was on the wrong side of the line. Completely in the wrong side of the line. Paralyzed. Questioning myself all the time.
But
questioning every belief all the time.
It actually took you only 10 years.
The problem is you have a student in front of you, and when you question yourself all the time, and when you question your beliefs all the time, you don't feel entitled to say anything. Yeah. But you have to do something.
Or he might feel it,
and
that's the problem.
It's not that he might feel it. Eventually, you will quit.
Yeah.
Hansa, I was like this to quit.
Yeah.
Like this to quit at some point.
It was at the point once you quit with Sergio?
No. It was long after that.
Okay.
It was long after that. And I needed to work hard on a couple of things to be able to forgive myself. and to give me space and to accept that I know what I know when I know it, and that I'm just in the quest and that I will find the answers. But what I'm doing right now is still very good, and it has the potential to help a lot of people. And to put myself in perspective and realize that I'm probably still ahead of the curve. So I still think, and this is what I had to say to myself a lot of times, that your students are still lucky that they found you, because you're a hard working guy that studies a lot, you're not stupid, you're some smart, you have a good experience. So whatever you're going to say is not stupid. You might prove yourself wrong along the way, it doesn't matter. But you kind of question yourself. And this is very important for me as a coach, but this is super important for the players. Players need to, the other day I was asking a golfer, a little bit younger than you guys are. I was asking, what do you want to do with golf? He said, I want to be number one in the world. And I said, do you think you can be? Do you think you have the potential to be? And he said, I think I do. And I said, well, from this point on, it's never ever a desire, it's a reality. Because if you want and you think you can, it's a matter of time. Mm-hmm. So from now on, you shouldn't feel shame of saying, I will be number one in the world. Because if you want and you think you can, nothing can stop you.
Put it together, work hard.
You will find the solutions. Don't worry. You will find the solutions along the way.
Yeah.
Because your day will have 24 hours of quest to be the best. And that's what I like to see in players. I like to see in players that when they eat what is best for their performance. Because they're thinking their performance.
Mm-hmm. Vision. Just focusing on the goal.
Focus. Yeah. It's a matter of focus. So when they take a rest because it's the best for their performance.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they train the best way. Like, you've got B.J. Seng and Colin Montgomery. B.J. Seng came the first to the driving range before the sun
left the last.
Rose, and after the sun had gone, he was still hitting balls. That was his recipe. Colin Montgomery said, if I hit more than 100 balls a day, my swing gets off. Both had the right focus. Both found their recipes to be the best.
Sure.
Right? So the reason why Colin Montgomery didn't hit more balls, it wasn't because he was a lazy ass. It was because he thought that was detrimental for his performance. So when he went to rest, it was thinking about his performance. And that's what I want to see in players. But that takes a lot of faith. Players need to be, and coaches, everybody. When you have goals and when you want to be great at something, you need to have a lot of faith that you are born to do it. And then forgive yourself, leave, experience, learn, tweak, change, but do never question yourself. Do never question yourself. That's the line that you shouldn't cross. Questioning yourself. No.
Yeah, well, if I take a look at it myself, not being a athlete or because I finished my career, long lasting, but I'm actually running a business now, some businesses, and it's the same. You never should ask yourself, is this the right way? Is this the right direction?
Because at the end, I was having a conversation yesterday with a player that I'm trying to help with putting. Mm-hmm. And he was in a tournament. And he said, I had a task for him that was very simple. I wanted him for 18 holes after every putt or after the hole. he had to rate every putt in a yes or a no if he was 100% mentally in the right place. That's it. We had been dealing with focus, locus of attention, and where his mind should be in the process instead of the result, because the result just brings anxiety because it's something that you cannot control, right? So how much he had to be in the process, right? So I said to him, for 18 holes, every time you finish a hole, if you hit 2 putts, I just want you to rate. Tick if you were 100% with the mind where it had to be. Cross if you weren't, right? So he came back to me after the round. He had a good round. He putted good. He had 32 putts where he was, when I started working with him, he was averaging a lot more because he was kind of like a big snowball already when he came to me, right? Advice for players, don't look for a coach when the snowball is huge already. Do it before. Don't let it go to that point. So my question was, what was the problem in those 5? He said to me, I have 5 crosses. 32 putts, 5 crosses. So I said, what was the problem? And he said, in 3 of them, the problem was I wasn't sure about the break. And that didn't allow me to be mentally present in what I had to do. And that brought something to my mind. And I said to him, it doesn't matter if you're sure or not. You have to make a decision, right?
Yeah. And
the problem is when you play a putt and you haven't made a decision. And take that to any aspect of life. At some point you have to make a decision. When you're going to get married and you're in front of the priest or the person that is going to in your wedding day, how can you be 100% sure that that's the right person for the rest of your life? Well, you don't know it, but you have to make a decision. So you cannot question yourself. So what you do is you have a moment in which you analyze things. And after analyzing things, very, very seldom you will have 100% ratio of an outcome coming. It's never 100%. But after analyzing things, you think that that's your best bet.
Yeah.
Gives you the best odds. Well, then you have to make a decision. And that's it. From that point on, you live with that decision. It might be right, it might be wrong. When the wrong comes, you will face another situation.
I mean,
and you will make another decision, right?
Life is full of decisions.
Well, it's every day, every second, right?
Yeah,
every
I'm
second.
picking up this glass. I'm deciding.
So what I'm trying to go is you cannot wait until you are, and coming to my previous train of thought, you cannot wait until you are 100% certain of things to start walking. Because you're never going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And who cares? Your only certainty should be that you're going to do everything that is in your hand to find the solutions. And you should have a lot of faith. And faith is believing in what you cannot see, that eventually you'll find them. So, and now coming back to this player, I said to him, sometimes you're certain and you're wrong. So who cares if you're certain or not? You study the situation. In this case, you read the putt. And you might have doubts, but at the end of the day, you have to finish with that part of the process, put it in a box, and make a decision. I'm going to play the putt this way. And you seal that with a visualization, which actually happens with every other aspect of life. Visualization is super important. That's why meditation helps so much, right? You seal that with a visualization. Once you have that, you stay in the process. You cannot be questioning yourself all the time. And that's a mistake that I've made as a coach before. Worse, I didn't understand the people that didn't question themselves all the time. I thought they were idiots. Well, they were a lot smarter than me. Right?
Yeah.
And that applies to coaches, business, golfers, life in general.
Do you meditate?
I'm a bad practitioner, but I have to do it, yeah.
Or you have some way of meditation? I don't know. I mean, like, not...
No, not yet. But the first time a player came to me and said that he was meditating, I thought he was cuckoo.
And now you say sorry.
He wasn't.
Now you say sorry to him.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's really
Do you
important.
take cold showers?
What do you mean?
Wim Hof? No? Cold showers. I mean, like, for...
Cold showers? No, I just discovered that guy 2 days ago.
Really?
Really?
But I didn't take it. No. But I had to start doing it. Yeah. But
try it.
But breathing is key.
This is the meditation, I think.
Yeah,
Like, the
breathing.
breathing is the key.
I'm coming to realize breathing is a key element to life.
Yeah.
It is. Do you...
Too late.
Never too late.
Never too
Never
late.
too late.
It's never too late to start early.
No. Do you also help your players with the mental side, or you get some psychologists that you send them to?
Both.
Good.
Both. I try to have the tools. I like to think of myself more like a general coach. And a coach is a person that enhances the performance of the people, right? That's what a coach is. Helps maximize potential in people's performance. So if you want to name yourself a coach, you need to know your apples in the mechanics, but you also need to know your apples in the mental side and in the physical side and everything, right? And I like to be a coach. Some other people might want to be a teacher, which is also great. We need them. I learn from them. I have the telephone number of the best in the world.
Which one is that?
The best teachers of different elements, right?
Right.
The best, or I like to think they are the best in the golf swing, the putting swing, the green reading. And you asked me about aim point before, right? Mm-hmm. It's a source of knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's a source of information, right? Yeah. Coaching is a lot more round up.
Coaching is like showing the direction.
Coaching is, to me, is having the tools to help people maximize their performance, right? So the tool might be your knowledge or might be someone else's knowledge, and your tool is the telephone number.
Yeah. I mean, like,
right?
It's a big box.
So in the mental side, what I try to have is the tools to help them. But when it gets out of my scope because it's not my specialty, I access to the people that,
of course,
are specialists in this.
I mean, like, if I take a look at it today, Kino, as a coach, was more than that for us, and that's why he was the best, even the key for you. I think that if we take a look at it, myself, or Jirka, or whoever gets to have an experience with him, Kino is like a father to people. I mean, like, he raised us somehow.
The more I've ran away from Kino, like, because my career sent me to different paths.
Sure, yeah.
The more I've ended up coming back to Kino.
Yeah. He's the
without knowing it, and without wanting it, or without pretending it. What he represents is the ultimate coach.
Yeah.
he doesn't. I mean, a coach doesn't need to be the specialist in the field, in any field. A coach needs to have the toolbox, enough resources, and then the adaptability and the access to the people that might be specialists.
Yeah, sure.
As you said, I wouldn't say he's a father to us, but he's like a godfather to us.
Yeah.
Like he really, you know, he
We could call him the Godfather from now on.
yeah.
Sure.
Let's
He's
go.
the- he's the
What do you say in
godfather.
Spanish?
Padrino.
Padrino.
See,
Padrino.
he's a padrino because
Padrino Joa.
I mean, like, I remember.
We got it.
I remember many times I came to you, at the time you were here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I came to you with Kino, and it was. It didn't have to be a golf thing, and you somehow showed me the direction. You know, you were the people that raised us as a people.
Exactly.
Somehow as well, that formed us, you know.
Personality.
I mean, yeah.
And this is something that is, to me, is very important. I mean, at the end of the day, I think a coach is a factory of champions, what it should be. Mm-hmm. And what you want to create is champions in life. Being a champion golfer is part of being a champion in life. And I like to think that the things that I instill or inspire to my players, if one day they decide not to keep being a golfer, they will. Those things will help them anyway.
Yeah.
Because I don't think life is party. I don't think. In the cubes, like what it takes for being a golf champion is different to what it takes for being a business champion.
Sure. Yeah.
No, it's the same set of assets, it's the same set of values for everything, right? So. You try to create the champion, and then the champion express itself or himself or herself in a field, and that field might be golf performance, or it might be coaching, or it might be business, or it might be teaching, or it might be, I don't know, flying planes.
Yeah.
But the champion is a champion within himself.
Yeah.
Within himself, independently of how good their swing is a champion. And if at some point doesn't find a swing that is functional enough to be number one in the world, he will find, like the water, like be water, my friend, right? Mm-hmm. It will find the way to flow to some place where he can be a champion.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
With that bombshell, I think it's time to end.
Yeah.
This story, because it was like really nice, and I think it's. Or you got anything else you like to go through?
No, I think it was more than enough.
Anything else you would like to say?
No.
Well, we have actually a few couple of questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is called
Turové desatero.
Naše turové desatero, and we'll be asking you short answers, please. 10 questions, easy, about golf. So the first one is what is your favorite golf course, most favorite?
I'd say my opinion is changing. I'd say Valderrama.
Okay.
So, do you play it many times?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's probably not the best technical design. It's quite unfair. It's the place to be. It's like La Meca, right?
Okay. What is it so special about Valderrama? Because I've been on a driving range.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I've never played a golf course, but
And a pro shop.
but what is so special about Valderrama?
Well, I don't know, but it's like, first it's obviously the conditions, right? The conditions are neat all the time. Like everything is manicured, right? So you feel really special. and I don't know, it inspires something. It has something. It has some corners where when you're there, you're like, you feel like you're in St. Peter's Cathedral, right? It feels like this. I mean, I've been to St. Peter's Cathedral. It's not, I know, more beautiful, but I wouldn't trade them off, right? I wouldn't change being there for being in another place. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
So
a history,
history is
touches you.
It touches, but it touches everybody. Yeah, when you're there and you're playing and you're under those trees and you have those corners, those views, those greens, those tiny small greens in perfect condition, it touches everybody.
Mm-hmm. I had the same feeling at St. Andrews. At the golf course.
Yeah, St. Andrews is a great example.
I've never played it, but I've been there twice, and at the Open, and I just feel the history.
If you ask anybody that has been top golfer to make a list of the 10 favorite golf courses, I don't think anybody would not mention St. Andrews. Mm. Okay, we know that the technical design of St. Andrews is 9 holes going there, 9 holes coming back, too wide probably, greens are too... I mean, if it's not windy, it's too easy, probably. Yeah. It has the potential to be too easy. But man, you wouldn't trade it off. You wouldn't be anywhere else. You wouldn't be anywhere else, right?
Exactly. All right, that comes to a second question. A golf hero we probably know.
Seve.
Dream flight? Or yours?
It includes Seve. I'd say Seve. I would say Jon Daly.
Cool.
Not the one of today. Probably Jon Daly, 1991. And I'd say Jack Nicklaus.
Cool. Okay. The best shot you ever hit?
There haven't been many, so I should be able to forget to remember very easy. Under the situation of good tournament and stuff, I made an eagle 2 in a par 4, and that 8 iron was very, very good.
Cool.
I would say that.
What is your favorite drink when playing?
When playing? Water.
Cool. Any golf weakness, like when playing?
Yours.
Mine?
Yeah.
Ball striking.
What would you change about golf? I don't know, ethic or...
Can be a rule, can be some attitude, etiquette. Yeah. If there's any.
In the 21st century, to have a sport that in order to be played you need 65 hectares of land is a nonsense.
So you would cut it to 9 holes?
12 probably. 12.
That's a nice opinion because actually, and you would play 12 holes only.
12.
And even the time you spent playing 18.
Just think about something. When golf was developed, golf is a super old sport. When golf was developed, the society was very different. The rich people didn't have to work.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
They had enough time, yeah.
But people now have to work, and they have families. So how can you say to someone that has been working for 50 plus hours a week, that haven't seen their families, that he's going to be out for 6 hours on Saturday?
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's a problem that we are actually talking about pretty often.
Golf has a problem of, as we know it, has a problem of survivance if it doesn't evolve. And I think that's the reason why some very clever companies are investing in different solutions like urban driving ranges, gamifying driving ranges, because gamifying driving ranges allow people to go have a game 1 hour, 45 minutes, same as when you rent a tennis court or a badminton court, and then you leave and come back to the office.
Exactly. This is something that golf needs.
So I would really like to know, nowadays, the percentage of 9 holes rounds versus 18 holes golf rounds played in the year. Not in holidays, but in
the rest of the
cities, working days.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I would change about golf is we should do something so golf doesn't take 60 hectares of land to be played. Because first, it gets very far from the cities.
Yeah.
Difficult access. Second, gets very expensive because maintaining the cost of the land plus the maintenance.
And you can't get more money.
And 3, it takes 5 stupid hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's coming to 12 holes. I think that's a very good solution. It's a first step, 12 holes. Second, I don't know about distance, but courses, I don't want to go into the equipment, but course design needs to improve so golf courses can be competitive and shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're still getting longer.
Yeah, but that's not the way to go. Every year when the PGA Tour players go to Riviera, shit on their pants. When they go to Valderrama, they shit on their pants. And they're short courses.
Yeah.
So that means there is something to be done there.
But there is a thing, like, there was an issue, like, when Bryson came and then they were starting to discuss let me finish. They were starting to discuss the distance. Okay, we gotta make the golf courses longer, but I think it's crazy. I would never do it, because in the end, the best player is going to win.
Right? Distance is a problem, but for a different reason than most people think. Distance is a problem because most players, amateur golfers, are not hitting long enough for the golf courses that we're building.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the real problem.
Exactly.
The percentage of people that we might argue if they are hitting the ball too hard is like 0.3% of the golfing population. 95% of the golfers out there don't hit it long enough. That's the problem. So I wouldn't go into the equipment. I would say that we need to design golf courses better so golf courses stay competitive, being shorter. That's what I think.
Yeah, but from my point of view, it's so stupid to do this. They want to like protect the golf course to not be like -20 every time. But why not? It doesn't matter if it's -20. The best player always wins.
But there are ways to make it so they don't go 20 under. That doesn't imply making 7,000 meters golf courses. Mm-hmm. We are right now that resort. There is a great resort with a great golf course, lovely golf course. But we have 18 golf holes built in a place where you could make 36 fit in. And there's a problem, because all of a sudden there are some costs attached to that reality. And how do you make that sustainable? I'll tell you one thing, and we were discussing this the other day. Golf courses, like a golf course itself, is a horrible investment. It's a horrible business. Golf courses. I'm not saying the golf industry is dead. I'm saying everybody that owns a golf course does it for a different reason than looking for a return of the investment. Mm. Right? Yeah. For a different reason. It might be housing. It might be, someone should sit down and think that that's a problem. It's a problem that you have the fact that pretty much everybody that owns a golf facility, a facility for your sport, is doing it with a different interest rather than the profit that they can make out of golf. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be a quick question, right?
Yes.
Quick question,
yeah, but
right?
this was a nice opinion.
Yeah, number 8. Is there anything you got in your bag that you have to have it all the time, like a totem or something that brings you luck, whatever?
No, enough tees and enough golf balls.
Cool.
And nowadays, enough golf balls are a lot of golf balls. But
What is your best golf experience, maybe, let's say?
it has been as a coach. And it has been attending a major championship as a coach. It's probably my best golf memory.
Okay, cool. And the last?
And the last one, the best advice you've ever got from anyone.
Life advice or whatever.
It doesn't have to be about golf.
I think the best advices that I have got haven't been advices, it had been examples.
Mm-hmm.
And the best examples that I have had has been in life, my father, and in golf, Kino. So they have been, advising me without saying a word.
Good. Okay. Then I thank you very much for coming here.
I thank you guys. It's been a nice chat.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you here, coming from southern Spain.
Yeah.
I hope we see each other again soon, and take care, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are GOLFCAST, and thank you that you are listening to us. See you.
And watching.
Yeah.